Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm gonna do a full chapter-by-chapter summary of the book Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Violet Sorrengail reports to General Sorrengail's office at Basgiath War College on conscription day. Her sister Mira argues against the general's decision to force Violet into the Riders Quadrant instead of the Scribe Quadrant. Mira takes Violet to her room, which is already packed into crates. Mira replaces Violet's gear with tailored leather armor containing tan scales and rubber-bottomed boots. She discards most of Violet's books, but allows her to keep one intended for killing people. Violet hides 4 daggers on her person and braids her hair into a crown. Mira warns her that other cadets will try to kill her. At the southern turret, Violet encounters Rhiannon, Matthias, and Dylan. Mira identifies Xaden Ryerson as a third year who will kill Violet. Violet signs the Riders Quadrant role with Captain Fitzgibbons. She trades one of her specialized boots for Rhiannon's slick-soled boot before climbing the stairs toward the parapet. Chapter 2. Violet watches Dylan fall to his death from the stone bridge. She faces Xaden Ryerson at the turret opening. Xaden identifies her as General Sorrengail's daughter, while Violet identifies him as von Ryerson's son. Xaden challenges her to cross the parapet. Violet steps onto the 18-inch wide bridge, 200 feet above the ravine. A sudden deluge of rain begins. To maintain focus, Violet recites historical and geographic facts about Navarre and Poromil. Behind her, Jack Barlow grabs a scrawny candidate and throws him from the bridge. Jack chases Violet, shouting that she is a mistake. Violet slips, her leg dangling over the edge, but regains her footing and runs the final 10 feet to the Citadel courtyard. She draws a dagger and pins Jack against the wall, pointing the blade against his balls. A third-year wing leader named Naira records their names. Jack promises to kill Violet in the sparring ring. Chapter 3. Violet reunites with Rhiannon in the Citadel courtyard and retrieves her boot. Dane Edos, a second-year squad leader, finds Violet and escorts her to a hidden alcove. He takes her to his third-floor dormitory room, using magic to lock the door. Violet wraps her swollen knee with bandages provided by Major Gilstead. Dane tries to convince her to transfer to the Scribe Quadrant via a secret passage, but Violet refuses. They return to the courtyard for the official assembly. Commandant Panchek announces that 67 candidates died during the crossing. Violet is assigned to Dane's squad in Second Wing, but Xaden Ryerson intervenes. Xaden, the Fourth Wing leader, negotiates a squad switch, placing Violet under his direct command. 8 massive dragons land on the Citadel walls. When a cadet attempts to flee toward the stone keep, a red dragon incinerates him. Xaden warns the remaining cadets that they are prey to the dragons. Chapter 4. At morning formation, Captain Fitzgibbons reads names from the death roll, including Dylan. Dane Edos instructs his squad to attend classes in the academic wing before meeting at the sparring gym. Sawyer, a repeat cadet who failed to bond previously, leads the first years toward the dormitory. Dane signals Violet to a private meeting behind a dark red marble dragon pillar in the 3-story rotunda. He warns Violet that Xaden moved their squad into Fourth Wing to facilitate her assassination as revenge against their mother. Dane reveals he bonded a red swordtail named Kath and manifested a signet power to read recent memories through physical touch. He urges Violet to cut her silver-tipped hair to avoid being a target. As they talk, Xaden Ryerson appears at the top of the steps leading to the gathering hall. Xaden mocks their relationship, calling them childhood friends. Sensing immediate danger, Dane orders Violet to run to her next class. Chapter 5. Violet attends battle brief with Professors De Vera and Markham. De Vera reports a griffin attack at the village of Chakir and reveals that the protective wards faltered. Violet identifies the village's high altitude as an illogical attack site and deduces that the wing was already en route because a dragon sensed the faltering ward. Xaden Ryerson argues the attackers were looking for something specific. Later, the squad meets at the sparring gym for assessment. Professor Emeterio forbids blades, but Jack Barlow kills a first year on a nearby mat by snapping his neck. Emiterio pairs Violet against Imogen, a pink-haired second year whose family was executed by General Sorrengail. During the match, Imogen attempts to use a hidden dagger, but Violet's dragon-scale armor deflects the strike. Imogen eventually pins Violet and demands she yield. When Violet refuses, Imogen wrenches her shoulder apart and breaks her arm. Emiterio declares the match over as Violet's bone snaps. Chapter 6. Dane carries the injured Violet through a suspended stone tunnel to the Healer Quadrant. Healer Winifred calls for Nolan, a rare mender with the power to restore bones. Dane argues that Violet should transfer to the Scribe Quadrant rather than being mended, claiming she cannot survive the Riders Quadrant. Violet refuses the transfer and insists Nolan mend her just this once. Nolan performs the magic, causing Violet such white-hot agony that she loses consciousness. She returns to the first-year barracks that night, with her arm in a blue sling. Under her pillow, she finds a survival journal written by her late brother, Brennan, which Mira bribed a scribe to deliver. The journal reveals that instructors decide sparring matches a week in advance and provides a secret map of Basgiath. Violet realizes she can use this information to prepare for her opponents. She vows to find a way to survive upcoming hand-to-hand challenges. Chapter 7. Violet sneaks out past curfew to the riverbank to gather unripe, fawnally berries for use as a weapon. While hidden in an oak tree, she witnesses a forbidden assembly of nearly 24 riders, including Xaden, Imogen, and Garrick Tavis. Every attendee bears a rebellion relic, making the gathering a capital offense. Xaden warns the group that Nivarians will look for reasons to force them to fail and offers extra combat training. When a cadet asks when they can kill Violet, Xaden declares that she is mine to handle. After the group disperses, Xaden discovers Violet. He pins her against the tree with a dagger at her throat. Violet throws 2 daggers at his head, but Xaden's shadows pluck them from the air. He returns her weapons and suggests she use such tactics against Jack Barlow. He allows her to return to the barracks after she promises not to report the meeting. Chapter 8. During breakfast duty, Violet poisons Oren Seifert's eggs with powdered fawnally berries. In Dragon Lore class, Professor Corey uses illusions to display various breeds, including scale and a rare, unbonded black dragon. Kaori reveals the black dragon's former rider, Naelin, died attempting to save Brennan. At the sparring gym, Violet throws daggers at the wall near Jack Barlow to deter his threats. She then faces Oren on the mat. As the poison takes effect, Oren becomes sluggish and vomits. Violet pins him and forces a yield, earning his dagger. Over the following month, Violet uses various cultivated herbs and mushrooms to incapacitate her opponents during challenges, winning 5 matches and acquiring a ruby-hilted dagger. She successfully defends herself against multiple attackers without using lethal force. In early September, her scheduled opponent is hospitalized. Xaden Ryerson unexpectedly steps onto the mat to challenge Violet himself, claiming he is happy to step in. Chapter 9. Xaden Ryerson challenges Violet in the sparring gym. He discards his own weapons and proceeds to disarm Violet of all her daggers. He mocks her techniques and pins her in several submission holds, whispering that he knows about her poisoning secret. Xaden instructs her to stop using large moves that expose her and demonstrates fatal strike points at the ribs and kidneys. He warns that she cannot poison every enemy in real battle. After disarming her of all 9 daggers, he returns them and ends the session. That night, Dane Edos admits he arranged a secret transfer for Violet to the Scribe Quadrant through Colonel Markham. Violet accuses Dane of having no faith in her abilities. Dane warns that during the upcoming threshing, cadets like Jack Barlow will hunt her, and as a squad leader, he will be forbidden from intervening. He begs her to leave for her own safety. Violet promises to think about it. Chapter 10. Violet's squad practices on the Gauntlet, a treacherous obstacle course on a cliffside. Violet struggles with the chimney formation and the final vertical ramp due to her short stature. During the session, squad mate Oralee slips on a spinning post and falls to her death. Violet later carries Auralie's rucksack to the burn pit on the academic tower roof to incinerate her belongings. In the courtyard after curfew, Violet encounters Xaden, Garrick, and Bodhi returning from a secret mission to Athabine. Xaden discovers Violet and questions her presence. Violet admits she is debating leaving for the Scribe Quadrant because she cannot scale the chimney. Xaden reveals he knows about Dane's transfer plan through his shadows. He tells Violet that hope is a fickle, dangerous thing and advises her to focus on probabilities rather than possibilities. He challenges her to find an unconventional way to conquer the gauntlet, stating that the right way isn't the only way. Chapter 11. Presentation Day requires cadets to climb the gauntlet to reach the flight field. Violet Sorrengail uses a heavy rope to navigate the chimney structure, using her weight to leverage herself hand over hand. For the final ascent, a nearly vertical wooden ramp, she sprints upward and slams a dagger into the slick, soft wood to fling herself the last foot to the cliff top. Amber Mavis, wing leader of 3rd Wing, accuses Violet of cheating by using foreign materials. Xaden Ryerson notes the 30-second penalty for the rope, but confirms the dagger is legal because it was carried across the parapet. Xaden records her time as her blood is dripping from my fingertips due to shredded palms. Violet's squad remains intact and places 11th out of 36 squads. All 9 members of her squad successfully complete the gauntlet. Chapter 12. 169 cadets arrive at a box canyon for presentation, a processional before 101 dragons. The senior wing leader orders cadets to walk in a single file and talk to your nearby squad mates so dragons can sense their character. Violet observes 3 red dragons, oranges, and greens. At the end of the path stands a small golden feathertail dragon. Tynan and Luca mock the small dragon, calling it fucking yellow and small. A red dragon incinerates Prior, leaving a charred patch of ground and ash. 2 green dragons approach Violet, sniffing her back where Tane's scales are sewn into her armor. They retreat after blinking at her. Luca is incinerated after a blast of heat, hits her for calling the dragons underwhelming and mocking Violet. Violet's squad is reduced to 6 first years. Chapter 13. On October 1st, 147 cadets enter the valley for threshing. Professor Corey instructs them to listen for a calling from dragons. Violet wanders the forest for hours, encountering various breeds that do not connect with her. She climbs a tree to survey the area and sees the golden feathertail in a clearing to the north. While hidden, she overhears Jack Barlow, Oren Seifert, and Tynan plotting to kill the unwritable Feathertail to eliminate a liability. Violet races to the clearing, injuring her ankle in a fall, but reaches the dragon first. She steps into the grass to put herself between Jack's group and the golden dragon. Jack, Oren, and Tynan arrive with drawn swords. Xaden Ryerson and his dragon scale appear at the edge of the clearing to observe the confrontation. Chapter 14. Violet fights Jack Barlow, Oren, and Tynan to protect the golden dragon. Xaden Ryerson informs the group he can only narrate, as rules forbid him from interfering. Violet stabs Jack in the shoulder, causing him to flee into the tree line. Tynan stabs Violet's upper arm, but she incapacitates Oren with a strike to the base of his skull. A massive black dragon, the unbonded Tern, arrives and incinerates Tynan. Tern communicates telepathically, calling Violet Silver One and ordering her to mount his back. Tern bows to make it easier for the injured Violet to climb his front leg. He identifies himself as Ternianak and launches into the sky. Violet loses her grip on his scaly ridges during flight and falls into a free fall. Chapter 15. Tern catches the falling Violet in his claws and tosses her back onto his back. He performs spirals and banks, flying toward the Basgiath training fields. Violet and Tern enter the canyon as the 71st Bond. Hundreds of dragons watch from the slopes as Tern lands in the dead center of the field. The golden dragon, Andar Norum, lands between Tern's legs and communicates mentally with Violet. Violet limps toward the roll keeper at the base of the dais where General Sorrengail and General Melgren sit. She names Ternianak as her dragon. When prompted by the high-pitched voice of the golden dragon in her head, Violet reveals she has bonded Andarnorum as well. The announcement that both dragons chose Violet causes an immediate uproar among the assembled leadership and riders. Chapter 16, Violet receives medical treatment, including stitches for her arm and a splint for her sprained ankle. Jack Barlow is nearby, having bonded an orange scorpion tail named Bade. The dragons hold an Empyrean, meeting on a southernmost peak, to decide the fate of the double bond. Xaden Ryerson reveals that Terran and Scale are a mated pair, which tethers his survival to Violet's. General Melgren announces that because there is no dragon law against it, the bond stands. Violet receives her relics, a black relic of a dragon stretching shoulder to shoulder and a shimmering golden one silhouette. Dane Edos kisses Violet, but she notes there is no heat or sharp slice of lust. She moves into a private dormitory room as cadets receive them after threshing. Chapter 17, Violet begins her first morning as a rider, noticing Sawyer leaving Rhiannon's room. She tells Rhiannon there was nothing there during her kiss with Dane. At breakfast, social dynamics shift as other riders show deference because Violet bonded Tern. Imogen, Quinn, Heaton, and Emery sit with Violet's squad. Imogen announces she will train Violet in the weight room to strengthen the muscles around your joints. Flight lessons begin with 92 riders, the smallest class to date. Violet struggles to stay in her seat during maneuvers and falls a dozen times. Tern catches her each time. Dane tells Violet the kiss was a catastrophic mistake because of their chain of command. Imogen begins training Violet's inner thighs using wooden machinery. Chapter 18, Violet resumes archives duty and reunites with Jazinia Neilwart. She asks for the Fables of the Baron, but Jazinia finds no record of it in the catalog. Professor Markham introduces a new scribe squad to Violet, calling her his prize student. Sawyer manifests his signet power, metallurgy, or manipulating metals. Flight lessons continue, and Tern growls at Dane for being overprotective. Violet ends her friendship with Dane after he admits he arranged a transfer to the Scribe Quadrant because he is terrified she won't survive. In the courtyard, a cadet named Jeremiah manifests mind-reading abilities and screams. Professor Carr executes Jeremiah by gripping his head and breaking his neck because Intinsics are considered a security risk. That night, 7 unbonded cadets attack Violet in her room. Chapter 19, 7 unbonded cadets, led by Oren Seifert, attack Violet in her bedroom while she sleeps. Wing leader Amber Mavis unlocked the door and fled. Violet fights them with daggers, stabbing one in the shoulder and another in the thigh. Oren grabs her throat and holds a blade to her neck. Andarna screams and stops time, freezing everyone in the room except Violet. Violet escapes Oren's grip and sidesteps his arm. Time resumes as Xaden Ryerson enters the room with shadows hanging in midair. Xaden uses his shadows to choke 5 assailants and slits Oren's throat with a dagger. Garrick Tavis and Bodhi Duran assist with cleaning up the bodies. Xaden inspects Violet's bruised ribs, then laces her boots and wraps her in his cloak. Chapter 20, Xaden leads Violet through a hidden door and a stone tunnel that smells of earth. They emerge at the flight field from a camouflaged door in the boulders. Tern, Scale, and Andarna land to meet them. Xaden demands to know what power Tern is channeling to Violet. Andarna reveals she is a hatchling Feathertail and gifted Violet her ability directly. She explains her gift is to make time stop briefly. Tern notes that Feathertail gifts usually disappear with maturity when the dragon begins to channel properly. Xaden orders Violet to keep the time-stopping ability secret because rare abilities are valuable currency. Violet identifies Amber Mavis as the rider who unlocked her door. Xaden promises to keep Violet safe behind warded doors. Chapter 21, at morning formation, Xaden Ryerson assigns Liam Mary to Dane's squad to act as Violet's bodyguard. Xaden publicly accuses Amber Mavis of coordinating the dishonorable assassination attempt against a sleeping rider. Amber denies the charge. A quorum of wing leaders, Xaden, Nyra, and Septon, assembles on the dais. Taryn projects Violet's memory of Amber's presence in her room to the other dragons on the wall. The wing leaders reach a unanimous agreement of guilt. Amber's dragon, Clade, retreats under Taryn's roar. Taryn leans over the dais and incinerates her with a blast of fire in front of the entire quadrant. Relics of a glistening black relic of a dragon and a shimmering golden one appear permanently on Violet's back. Chapter 22, Violet spars with Rhiannon in the gym, while Xaden and Garrick spar shirtless nearby. Jack Barlow mocks Violet for her lack of signet manifestation. After Liam pushes Jack off the mat, Xaden uses his power to lock the gym doors. He instructs Violet to wear her armor at all times and stop using a bow staff. Later, in her room, Violet feels a deluge of raw, endless power as Taryn begins channeling. She flees to the foundation walls, where she finds Xaden smoking churam. He teaches her to ground herself in the archives of her mind and build a mental door to shield against the power. They engage in a deep kiss that Xaden abruptly stops, stating, "Kissing you would be a cataclysmic mistake." He sets her on her feet and orders her to leave, citing that the desire isn't yours, but Taryn's. Chapter 23, Rhiannon manifests a summoning signet by making a book disappear. Liam reveals his signet is Farsight. Violet joins Professor Carr's wielding class, though she can only perform lesser magics. She discovers Jack Barlow is authorized to challenge her. Violet prepares a vial of dried, powdered Fonnelly berries and identifies that Jack is allergic to oranges. During the match, Jack uses an illegal vibrating energy power to shock Violet. He pins her and mocks her for hiding behind the big, strong men. Jack throws a dagger into Violet's left forearm. She reaches into her pocket, opens the vial, and shoves it against Jack's mouth, breaking his tooth. Jack begins to wheeze and claw at his neck as his airway closes. Violet whispers he's allergic to oranges before losing consciousness. She wakes in the infirmary with Xaden, who informs her she received 30 stitches. Chapter 24, Xaden informs Violet he is taking over her training. He provides a custom dagger with tearish knots and an alloy-infused hilt. On the mat, he forces her to practice disarming him while he pins her down. He tells her to stop using bigger moves that expose you and targets weak spots like kidneys. A cadet named Mushin Vidi dies after his fire signet overwhelms him. Xaden pulls Violet from Carr's class for private training on a mountaintop. He uses their mental bond to project memories of their kiss, triggering her to manifest lightning. She successfully strikes a mile away. Later, Violet asks Xaden about the silver scars on his back, but Scale launches into the air before he answers. King Towery arrives at Basgiath for Reunification Day. Xaden gives Violet a new throwing target to replace the one he destroyed with shadows. Chapter 25, During the squad battle, Liam Mary wins the final mat challenge, moving the squad to 3rd place. Commandant Panchek announces a surprise mission. Squads must find the one thing that would be most advantageous to our enemies within Basgiath. With squad leaders sequestered, Imogen takes command. Violet suggests breaking into General Sorrengail's office. Quinn astral projects, while Sawyer manipulates metal to aid their entry. Inside the office, Violet reads missives about raids around Athabine and unrest within the province of Tyrrendor. They steal the current military map from the wall. As they flee, a guard confronts them. Emery uses a torrent of air to knock the guard against a wall. Violet uses a tonic to make him sleep. They present the map in the battle brief room. Xaden tips an imaginary hat as they win the final task and 1st place. Chapter 26, The squad flies 6 hours to Montserrat. Violet reunites with Mira and they travel to Rhiannon's village. They visit Reagan, who is rocking her new baby. Mira reveals she has Violet's Book of Folklore and gives it back to her. Violet admits she suspects leadership is redacting border information from battle briefs. Mira discusses the possibility of ambitious people becoming Venin by drawing magic from the earth. Back at the outpost, Xaden arrives because Taryn and Scale cannot be separated for more than 3 days. While Xaden and Violet discuss their relationship, Taryn bellows a warning about an approaching drift of griffins. The wards go down. Mira orders the squad to evacuate and tells Xaden, "Get her the fuck out of here." Xaden hauls Violet to the roof. They share a reckless and consuming kiss before Taryn catches Violet in his claw and launches. Chapter 27. During the Montserrat tour, Mira leads a battle strategy exercise using a stone model of a keep. Dane and Xaden argue over command hierarchy, with Xaden insisting Dane take the lead. Xaden uses his shadows to black out the room, demonstrating his power's reach. Outside, Mira uses a sound shield to warn Violet that Xaden might use her for retribution against their mother. After the Griffin attack and return to Basgiath, Violet waits outside Markham's office. Xaden brings coffee, and Markham confirms Mira survived. Taryn puts Violet through advanced maneuvers. War games begin with 4th Wing sent southeast. Dane's squad is tasked with defending a yellow flag. Xaden presents Violet with a specialized saddle featuring leather straps and pommels, which he had made for her. He tells Violet, "You're mine," and she realizes they are tethered together. Dane realizes their relationship and says Xaden will get her killed. Chapter 28. Violet, Rhiannon, and Liam fly to defend the flag. They spot a gray tower where 1st Wing is guarding a crystal egg. Jack Barlow, riding Vade, attacks Day and Liam. Jack jumps onto Daya's back and stabs Liam in the side before kicking him off. As Liam plummets, Violet cries to Andarna. Andarna stops time, allowing Taryn to catch Liam's frozen body mere feet from the rocks. Rhiannon takes Liam to safety. Taryn charges the tower while fire blasts at them. Violet feels a lethal, swirling vortex of energy as her signet manifests. She throws her hands forward and lightning splits the sky. The bluish-silver death slams into the tower, causing it to explode. Jack Barlow falls down the mountainside in an avalanche of rock. Big cries as Jack disappears. Taryn roars with pride, calling Violet a lightning wielder as the exercise concludes. Chapter 29. The squad lands on the flight field. Taryn confirms Liam is alive with a sword wound to his side. Violet retches in the mud from the guilt of killing Jack. Taryn folds his wings around her to provide privacy. Dane attempts to comfort her, but Xaden pulls her away, insisting Jack was a bully and that power like yours saves lives. He tells her, "You are not just a weapon. You are the weapon." Rhiannon observes their sexual tension and questions how Taryn moved so fast to catch Liam. Later, Xaden visits Violet's room. She admits she is wildly in love with him and won't separate sex from emotion. She tells him she is ready to risk my heart. Xaden insists he has no intention of falling for her. Violet throws him out, handing him the halves of her shattered throwing target. Chapter 30. Xaden returns to Violet's room, and they have sex. During the encounter, they break the armoire door and a chair. Violet's power flares, and a lightning strike shatters the window and sets the curtains on fire. Afterward, Xaden reveals the truth about the silver scars on his back. He made a deal to take personal responsibility for the loyalty of the 107 kids of the executed rebellion leaders. In exchange, the children were conscripted into the Riders Quadrant instead of being executed. He tells Violet, "Don't fall for me." In the morning, Professor Carr arrives at her room and sees the wreckage. He takes her to a mountaintop for wielding practice. Xaden uses their mental bond to project images of their night together, causing Violet to successfully wield lightning on command. Garrick later pounds on the door, announcing the quadrant is under attack. Chapter 31. At 4:15 a.m., the quadrant gathers for an urgent formation. Xaden gives Violet his flight jacket. Colonel Edos reads the scenario. The wards are falling, and multiple border villages are under siege. 4th Wing is ordered to the southeast. Xaden is assigned to Athabina's headquarters. He constructs his headquarters squad, selecting Violet, Liam, and Imogen. Dane argues that taking a first year beyond the wards is dangerous and accuses Xaden of using Violet for revenge on her mother. Xaden counters that Violet is safer with me. Dane realizes Xaden and Violet are together and expresses his disappointment. Xaden tells Violet that they are tethered because Scale and Taryn are mates, meaning if she dies, he might die too. He also reveals that 41 and bonded riders will target her to claim Taryn. They mount their dragons and depart for Athabine. Chapter 32. The squad flies 7 hours to Athabine, crossing the wards and landing at a lake. Xaden massages Violet's legs and they kiss. Suddenly, Griffin flyers arrive. Xaden greets them, saying, "You're fucking early," revealing he has been secretly aiding the enemy. The flyers warn that Venin destroyed a village and are heading toward Rezun. Xaden admits that Venin and Wyvern are real and that Navarian leadership is keeping the Venin secret. Violet realizes everyone in the squad besides her carries a rebellion relic. Xaden gives her a runed dagger made of alloy that can kill Venin. They arrive at the Athabine outpost and find it completely abandoned. Xaden realizes Dane read Violet's memories by touching her face back at Basgiath. He finds a missive from Colonel Eidos in the tower. The letter states their War Games mission is to survive if we can. Chapter 33. At 4:15 a.m., 4th Wing gathers for an urgent formation. Colonel Eidos announces the final War Games scenario. The Navarian wards are falling, and multiple border villages are under siege. 4th Wing is deployed to the southeast, and Xaden Ryerson is ordered to establish headquarters at the Athabine outpost. Xaden assembles his headquarters squad, selecting Violet Sorrengail, Liam Mary, and Imogen. Dane Eidos objects to taking a first year beyond the wards, but Xaden asserts his command. Xaden reveals that Taryn and Scale are mated, meaning he and Violet are tethered together for proximity. Violet mounts Taryn using the specialized leather saddle Xaden provided. Andarna rolls in mud to camouflage her golden scales and attaches to Taryn's harness via a triangular chest plate. The squad launches from Basgiath, departing for the 7-hour flight to Athabine, while the other squads disperse. Chapter 34. The squad crosses the Navarian wards and flies deep into Tyrrendor. They land at a lake near Athabine to allow the dragons to drink and rest. Xaden uses his hands to massage the stiff muscles in Violet's legs, while they wait behind a cluster of boulders. 2 Griffin flyers arrive at the meadow leading their mounts. Xaden greets the flyers, telling them, "You're fucking early." He reveals that he has been secretly working with the flyers for years. Liam momentarily restrains Violet while Xaden approaches the arrivals, but Taryn roars to force Liam to release her. Xaden admits to aiding the flyers by delivering shipments of weapons. The flyers warn the group that a horde of Venin destroyed a nearby village and is currently moving toward the trading post of Rezun. Xaden orders the squad to prepare for the final leg of the flight. Chapter 35. Xaden explains that Venin are real and drain magic from the earth, turning land into dead zones. He reveals that Navarian leadership conceals their existence and hoards the alloy required to kill them. Violet realizes every squad member except herself carries a rebellion relic. Xaden gives Violet a runed dagger made of the alloy. They arrive at the Athabine garrison and find it completely abandoned. Xaden discovers a missive from Colonel Eidos stating their mission is to survive if we can. He realizes Dane read Violet's memories of Athabine by touching her face back at Basgiath. As explosions sound from the valley, the squad watches Griffin flyers engage an enemy at Rezun. Xaden realizes the Navarian leadership intended for them to be executed by Venin at this location to test their loyalty. Chapter 36. Xaden gives the squad the choice to flee to El Tuval or defend Rezun. Everyone chooses to stay and fight the approaching Venin horde. Wyvern appear in the sky, confirm they are real beings created by Venin. Soleil and her dragon are killed when a Venin drains the ground beneath them. Violet uses lightning to kill 2 wyvern in midair. Liam and Day engage a large gray wyvern. The wyvern eviscerates Day. As Day dies, Liam plummets from the sky. Taryn banks hard to catch Liam's falling body, though Taryn suffers a roar of pain from an unseen attack. Xaden uses shadows to strangle a wyvern and rescues townspeople from the ground using a shadow rope. The group fights to evacuate civilians into a nearby mine as the trade post burns. Chapter 37. Taryn lands on a hillside so Violet can reach the dying Liam. Liam dies in Violet's lap after she promises to protect his sister, Sloane. A massive horde of wyvern approaches the valley. Xaden creates a wall of shadows to delay the horde while Violet mounts Tarn. A Venin rider lands on Tarn and stabs Violet's side with a poison dagger. Violet kills the Venin with her runed blade. Andarna uses her gift to stop time, allowing Violet to aim a massive lightning strike. The lightning kills the lead Venin rider, causing over half the wyvern to fall dead. Xaden kills the remaining Venin by dropping him into a dagger. Paralyzed by the poison, Violet slides from Tarn's back and falls toward the ground. Chapter 38. Andarna stops time to slow Violet's fall, and Xaden catches her. Xaden notes her blood is fucking black and realizes she has been poisoned. The squad gathers while Tarn roars in panic, vibrates Violet's ribcage, and threatens to cook Xaden alive if he fails to save her. Garrick and Imogen argue over the risk of their next move. Xaden rejects returning to Basgiath, which is a 12-hour flight away. Instead, he orders the squad to fly to a closer, secret location beyond the cliffs of Draller. Violet remains paralyzed and drifting in and out of consciousness during the flight. She hears Xaden whisper that she can't make me fall for you and then die. They cross the mountains as the poison continues to sear her veins. Chapter 39. Violet wakes up 3 days later in Xaden's bed in the city of Artia. Xaden reveals that Crad retrieved a small iron box from the ruins of the Rezun clock tower. He shows Violet that her side wound has mended into a silver scar. Violet observes that Artia, previously thought burned to the ground, is being rebuilt. Xaden gives her the dragon carving Liam finished before his death. Violet agrees to join the revolution, but refuses to trust Xaden with her heart. Xaden explains the rebellion relics mask the group from General Melgren's signet. Finally, Brennan Sorrengail enters the room. He reveals that he mended Violet and greets his sister with, "Welcome to the revolution." And that's how the book ends. Thanks for listening. If there's a book you'd like me to cover next, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your suggestions. Have you read this one? If you have, please tell me what you thought about it in the comments down below. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Or was it just okay? If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like and subscribe for more full book summaries. See you in the next one.